Why, hello. It's episode 131 of the franchise. And it's your boy, the D-Train, Daniel Ehrenberg, over here in Bedford-Stuyvesant on the ones as well as the twos. And we're talking Batman this week. Batman and Robin, and Batman Begins.
We sure are, folks. Welcome, everybody. This is your co-host, Henry Applevolley, down on the GSP South, heading towards AC, or you can stop at one of the many OTBs on the Parkway and lose your money there first. Welcome to episode 131, or as Beethoven calls it, the quartet in C-sharp minor. Am I right, Dan?
Oh, my God, I know. Charles Grodin is so funny.
Was that like a Grodin type joke?
Well, you were talking about Beethoven, right?
Oh, always ahead. Oh.
Yeah. Hank, it's Batman time again. We have a new setup this week. Henry's talking into his phone. I'm at a desk. Everything's crazy. It's franchise after dark. I've got a lemon lime Schweppes. I'm not happy about it. They were out of Poland Spring and Howell's. And
I am unhappy about my seltzer choice because I did not have time to get any except garbage, generic, bland Canada Dry in the giant bottle. So I'm literally slugging seltzer out of the, what is it, like the convenience store size seltzer.
It's like whenever I do that, it feels like I'm drinking a 40, even though I'm not.
Yeah, it's garbage. I also have a Diet Pepsi, in case anyone was wondering, which I'm sure they were.
Diet Pepsi, it's good. You know, Coke is way better than Pepsi, but Pepsi's got a pretty good diet game.
Well, I don't drink anything but diet. I don't like the sugary shit. I can't handle it. It's too much for me.
It's too much for Henry.
I love sweets, I love candy. I love ice cream. I love all kinds of sweets, but I don't like soda. Yeah, can't do it.
Henry, how was the early bird special today?
I raised hell on my my lactose.
Oh yeah, I bet. You need to buy some Ensure, huh?
Yeah, I just got back from the life insurance agent with Dennis Quaid. So,
oh, what's that a reference to?
The commercials he's now in, selling life insurance.
I don't watch commercials.
They're real bad.
Henry, we're talking about Batman, our man in the sky, the Dark Knight, the Cape Crusader. He's got
Knight Detective.
He's got a pointy hat. He's got a little blanket behind him, and he fights the crime.
Yeah, we're getting to a real pivotal point here. This was nice the way this worked out, actually, that we're going to be covering
two of the best Batman movies.
Right. And the end of an era and the beginning of a reboot, which is a continuation of essentially a franchise, even though they're different.
Oh, Henry, did you want to read the definition of reboot to our listeners?
Yes.
It's episode 131 of the franchise. I should think that people know what a reboot is.
Yeah. I thought you actually wanted me to make
Nope.
Serial fiction, a reboot. Oh, I have it pulled up. So
I hate you. Batman and Robin, Henry. Schumacher's back.
He sure is.
Akiva Goldsman back with the sole writing credit.
It's just, absolutely. SOUL.
Henry, so I like that. This movie does have soul. I'll give it that.
Does it? No.
I think so. We ranked all the Joel Schumacher movies. Do you want to get right into it?
Yeah, this was interesting to me. This was, we do this often, but let's just go for it.
It's weird. He's difficult because he's never made like a really great movie. And so like he doesn't have like the one masterpiece where like if you're ranking Ridley Scott movies, you could choose between like one or two movies.
You're right. And I also found that I've seen 15 of his movies.
I have too. Isn't that crazy? That's a lot.
That's funny. Yeah, and until we get to number 7 or 6, we're not at movies that I really remotely even like. So it's
To me, it's like 9, around there, 8 or 9. He's made some movies I enjoy, but I mean, he's such a workman-like director. His
right.
movies are all over the map. He's got like a couple of really tight, good movies. He's got some real garbage. He's got some sort of like just standard procedural kind of films. He's got some artsier stuff. He's a real weirdo.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, I there was a movie on here when I was doing this that I didn't even realize was him, and then I realized I wasn't sure if I'd seen it, and that's right, it's called Blood Creek. I'm not going to say where it is.
Oh, that's that movie. I don't know anything about Blood Creek, but it's the
Netflix.
cover is a bald fella with a swastika sort of shorn into his head, right?
It came up on the Netflix thing, and the reason I watched it was because it was 2009 Michael Fassbender, and I'm like,
no, the reason you watched it was because you'll watch any garbage on Netflix. I don't understand you.
I recently watched Cam.
What's that?
That's a new Netflix horror movie. I'm surprised you haven't heard of that. That's been getting a lot of
Where's the press?
It's not that good. On
good. Netflix? Was it on the new and noteworthy section of Netflix?
The press came from Jason Anthony Harris via text.
There we go.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm sorry. But I watch a lot of weird shit on Netflix. I just finished 2 very long crime dramas from Finland.
Oh, what are those called?
One is called Dead Wind, and one is called Border Town, and they are from Finland. And that was about 23 hours of my time, and we were all phenomenal. Loved it.
Listen, Henry, I'm in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel country this week. I don't have time for your Finnish crime dramas.
Oh, you should make time. Well, you're not a big fan of reading either.
That's not true.
I know it's not. You have more foreign movies on your list than
I ever do. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But no, I like stuff like that. Netflix is good for stuff like that. But most of the trash I watch on Netflix, I don't make it through. But Blood Creek, in all honesty, it was because it was like Fish Tank era Fassbender, and I was curious. I was like, well, what are we doing here? Yeah.
I bet it's great.
Well, I didn't say that.
I won't watch anything with a fucking swastika on the cover. People tell me to watch Man in the High Castle. I'm like, you keep it, motherfuckers.
I have no desire for that, but yeah.
All right, I've seen 15 Joel Schumacher movies, and so have you.
We can actually do this together.
Yeah, it's amazing. What's your least favorite Joel Schumacher movie?
Okay. Getting right into it. Batman and Robin.
I'm going Batman Forever with a bullet.
I knew you would. I'm going number 14, Batman Forever.
Let me ask you a question. Did you make this list after rewatching Batman and Robin?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I didn't want to make it before because I hadn't seen Batman and Robin in like 20 years.
Yeah, so. I'm so excited to talk about it. Let's get through this list. My number 14 is a piece of shit. He even Joel Schumacher's such a poor filmmaker that he even managed to make it's like Philip Seymour Hoffman's only bad performance in a movie called Flawless.
Disagree. I like that movie.
That's a garbage pile.
I don't think it is at all.
It's not as good as Batman and Robin, I'll tell you that much.
Well, here we go, folks.
What's your number 13? Wait, did you say your number 14?
Yeah, Batman Forever.
Right. Okay.
My number 13 is the number 23. I
saw that in theaters, Henry.
Yeah. I kind of can understand why. I mean, weird poster with Jim Carrey doing a scary thriller,
I think it was also that year I think we've discussed where I was writing a column and I had to see like 3 movies a week in theaters.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was one of those. But yeah, I might have seen it anyway. Jim Carrey in like a serial killer movie.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like sort of a Seven ripoff, but I feel like in like the 5 years after Seven came out, everyone was ripping off Seven. And so like this is like he's ripping off Seven like 10 years too late.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But there's a worse offender on this list that's the exact same thing you're describing.
Interesting. My number 13.
No, it couldn't be worse because it's 13, but go ahead.
My number 13 is Bad Company, in which Chris Rock plays his own twin.
That's the Anthony Hopkins joint?
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins is in that.
I didn't see that.
It's pretty bad. It's sort of like a poor man's Enemy of the State, which is already a bad movie.
Yeah, but that's way fucking... Well, I didn't see Bad Company, but...
It's similar. I feel like in Bad Company, Schumacher, he was moving the camera like he's fucking Tony Scott. Shit was saturated and stuff.
There you go, yeah. He does that, Schumacher. He saturates occasionally.
Yeah, he did it in the number 23 a lot, actually.
Yeah. All right, number 12. I don't know why I saw this. No, it was not Netflix. Your boy, Nick Cage, and my girl, Nick Kidman, in a little gem called Trespass.
Trespass? I've never seen that one. Boy, that was from those couple of years there where nobody knew what to do with Nicole Kidman. She wasn't she wasn't the young ingenue anymore. She's not the elder statesman she is now.
Right.
Yeah.
Before the arty stuff and before she's, Aquaman's mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, dude. I'm like midway through on Hulu right now, that latest episode of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore.
Really?
Nah, I quit a while ago, man.
That's a good decision, but like I'm just saying Jason Momoa's hosting this week.
Oh.
Motherfucker can't read.
Really?
He's having so much trouble with them cue cards, bro.
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I quit SNL a long time ago, unfortunately. Well, no, fortunately, I'm glad.
I don't know. The cast is pretty good right now, but the product is not.
Yeah, I don't care. So what's your 12 again?
My number 12, which I have not said yet, is Batman and Robin.
Okay, that's low enough for me.
I'm not too insane for you?
No, that's fine. I was getting real worried.
Okay.
Number 11 is a complete dismissive. I suppose it's not a bad movie, but I think it's pretty much junk. That is The Client.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies. There were 1,000 of them in the 90s.
Right, and he did a better one.
Well, it's only really better. There's literally 100 movies like that came out in the 90s. But that one has Tommy Lee Jones and Susan Sarandon, so it's a little better because of that.
But no, I'm saying he did a better one of John Grisham.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. Right.
My number 11 is the number 23.
Okay. All right. We're sort of on a similar page so far. Coming into the top 10, I remember seeing this in the theater and being angry when it was over. I have no why I was angry. I think just because I spent money, and it was a 7 ripoff, much closer to 7, and that is 8mm.
Yeah, that is one of those for sure. It's not too bad. I feel like Nicolas Cage is super miscast in it. I'll just say it right now, that's my number 10. So we're on the same page.
Look at that.
Yeah.
All right. My number 9, I haven't seen it in a long time. I'll never watch it again, but I suppose it's up here just for its value of the seminal important cast, St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, St. Elmo's Fire. It's a fine film. So it's a lot higher on my list.
That's the great song too. We got out of that movie too. So,
what movie? What song?
St. Elmo's Fire. Isn't that the song that I can feel you? I'm a
Well,
Right?
whether it was or wasn't, I enjoyed that.
Good.
Yeah. My number 9 is The Client.
Okay. Pulling in at number 8, another one I saw in the theater and didn't like. I keep seeing this guy's movies in the theater.
I know, me too. It's because he works with good actors, I think. Like I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think-
a lot of these movies I saw because of the actors. 8mm, it's Nick Cage around the time of Snake Eyes. Of course I'm going to see that. Fucking Bad Company, I was like, the heart of like, Bring the Pain era Chris Rock or Bigger and Blacker. I'm going to
Clooney,
see that.
Kilmer in the Batman movies, so
Yeah.
you're gonna see
Well, you're going to
those.
see those because they're Batman movies. You're going to
Right.
see number 23 because of Jim Carrey. And
Yeah.
you're going to see my number 8 movie, Henry, Flatliners, because of Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, that's a little bit criminal for me, but
Too low?
I didn't say my number 8.
What?
I didn't say my number 8, but
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
went-
I skipped you.
It's all right. That's quite all right. My number 8 was the movie I was saying I did see in the theater, and again, pretty much sucked. But it did involve Kiefer Sutherland, and it is called Phone Booth.
Phone Booth. Okay.
Colin Farrell. Remember that
I'm
one?
very familiar with it. It's higher on my list.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't mind Phone Booth.
Uh,
It's a little bit like a people trapped somewhere together movie.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sort of like a pseudo one of those. So it appeals to me on that level. I like that Colin Farrell is doing like a New York accent.
Yeah, I feel like it should have been a 20-minute short film. I think that would have worked.
Yeah, but it's only like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Felt like a much longer distance call.
I rewatched Phone Booth, Henry, this year, and I enjoyed
Really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Number 7.
Yeah.
Blood Creek.
Really? That's like not that bad?
It's better than the other movies I mentioned.
Okay. Okay.
It's probably it's a definite 2-star movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like now in this top 7 we're into 3-star movies on my list.
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
I am. I'm into a couple of 4s and a 5.
No, I'm saying starting now with the movie I'm about to
Yeah,
name. And this is another one. You're only seeing it because of the actor.
Okay.
All right. So my number 7 is Veronica Guerin with Cate Blanchett.
Yes. I like that a lot. I only saw it the one time, but
Yeah, me
I was-
too. Why do you need to see Veronica Guerin a second time?
You don't.
No.
No. My number 6 is a movie you thought was trash. This would probably be the one that we disagreed on. Biggest, maybe. I don't know. Was Flawless. I thought Philip Seymour Hoffman was awesome as usual.
What is he doing in that movie? De Niro's terrible. That movie sucks.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Okay. I don't know. I'm good. Number 6 for me is a movie called Falling Down.
Ooh. All right. So now with me in the top 5, we're getting to movies I like and have seen multiple times sometimes. All right. Number 5. Another movie I saw in the theater, A Time to Kill.
Yeah, Time to Kill is pretty legit. It's a good movie.
It's a pot boiler because it's John Grisham, but it's very well done. And McConaughey's good. Sandy B, of course, Oscar worthy.
McConaughey is good in that movie. It's like, but
Yes.
he hasn't given up yet. And it's
But then
well
he fell
pre
off the
McConaissance, but it's
Right.
before that bad period.
Right. That's right. Okay, what's your number 5 now?
Oh, my number 5 is Phone Booth.
Ooh, all right. All right, now we're getting into the heavy hitters. Sorry, folks, no theme songs this week because we're trying.
Wait,
new
can you
things
play it
for-
low?
Oh,
Heavy hitters. These are the grand slams, the slap shots, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
It might be better to try to get the audio. Here we go.
Well, I just read it. Isn't that the full thing?
He's the grand slam, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
Boy, what a great sounding
not
show
too bad.
this is.
I liked your impression of it, and there it keeps going again. All right.
What are we up to? Number 4 here?
Yeah, Veronica Guerin.
All right, my number 4 is A Time to Kill.
Okay. Number 3. These are the 3 best Joel Schumacher movies.
I agree. My 3 are the best.
I don't think that you do. But yeah. Actually, my 5. I would start with A Time to Kill, saying that's the top 5. But anyway. Falling Down.
Okay, my number 3 is St. Elmo's Fire.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, is that surprising.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, that's almost a movie that I would think even maybe our listeners would have predicted that would be like a Henry pick and real low.
That's a D-Train pick. That's a Brat Pack movie, buddy.
It's true, but I love me some Breakfast Club, but that ain't no Breakfast Club.
No, it's not. But I mean, it's definitely as good as like a Pretty in Pink.
Is it? Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know. All right. Okay. Number 2, I love this movie very much. This was a big contender for number 1, but I went with a sentimental favorite for number 1. So number 2 for me is Tigerland.
I'm very interested in what's going to happen with our lists here, because my number 2 is Tigerland, and I thought this was going to be your number 1.
So did I, but then I really had to think about it. I came up with a different one.
Okay,
so
what's your number 1?
The best Joel Schumacher movie. It's got all of his schlockiness, pulpiness, and saturatedness, and a hell of a cast. I fucking love Flatliners.
Flatliners at number 1.
Yep.
That means you've never seen my number 1.
I guess not.
Yeah. My number 1, and honestly, the way you described it, I thought you were going to go with my number 1. But here it is at number 1, The Lost Boys.
I never saw The Lost Boys. It's a huge gap in never saw it. I never had any interest. I'm not real into the vampire thing. Doesn't really ever get me much, but
I mean,
does it really hold up?
I haven't watched it in years, but I like that movie a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not as good as like Near Dark or something if we're talking about like 80s vampire schlock.
Right.
But it's real good.
Okay.
Henry Batman and Robin was released.
Batman and Robin.
What?
I said Batman and Robin.
Yeah, it was released June 20th, 1997. I was there. Opening day.
Right. Yes, I had a free pass, so I saw it.
Okay. Came in at a budget of 125 million, box office of 238.2 million. Henry, what?
That's not that impressive, right?
No, that's bad. That's why they didn't make another Batman movie for 8 years or whatever it was. They, I mean, it really, it was bad word of mouth. Like, people did not like Batman and Robin.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if I figured everybody hated it, but then again, I just didn't know if it was just the critics. I didn't know if the audience.
No, it was one of those things where, like, if audiences really hate it, like, the box office trails and trails, losing, like, huge percentages every week. It was one of those.
Okay.
It did well the opening weekend because, like, it's a new Batman movie.
Right. All right. Yeah.
It ended up coming in at number 12 at the box office for the year. Out of the top 10.
Jeez.
It's a Batman movie.
Number 12.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
I know, but it cost $125 million. It was a huge release, and everyone hated it. It made slightly less money than Face Off, and it was just above George of the Jungle. Like, it was around. George of the Jungle made as much money as this movie.
Brendan Fraser.
Hey, man, he was a big star, Henry.
I know he was. I remember, I don't know when it was, probably 10 years ago, so a long while ago. Clooney was on Letterman, as he was a lot. And Letterman just said something like, you were Batman once. And Clooney goes, yeah, I was. I wasn't in the good one.
Well, I mean, he's apologized for this movie a number of times. I think I read like he even.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, I think like while it was still in theaters, he was saying like, "Sorry about that."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty honest about it. I know. So anyway, before we get to George Clooney, you know, Val Kilmer was offered the chance to come back for this movie.
Right.
He turned it down. He decided to do The Saint instead. I think he saw the writing on the wall with this franchise.
You know what, man? I've never seen The Saint, but it was probably a better experience, probably a better move.
It's not much better than this.
No, I mean, yeah, but whew.
You know, between Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, Val Kilmer went off and made Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
One of the
infamous
greats.
difficult Val Kilmer with the infamously insanely difficult Marlon Brando.
Hell yeah.
There's a documentary on that I want to see.
It's worth watching.
You've seen it? Yeah.
Yeah, the original screenwriter, or the original director who got fired from making the movie, he hid out on set as like one of the animatronic animals.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
It sounds insane. It's like fucking Hearts of Darkness, but for a bad movie.
Yep. Both have Brando.
They sure do. Henry, I have a lot of nominations for this movie. Oh, so anyway, Kilmer chose The Saint. Joel Schumacher went to bat for William Baldwin as Batman.
Sure, Flatliners.
Yeah, they had worked on Flatliners. That's right. And the studio.
He was still in 97.
He was not.
I know, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I think after Sliver, he was kind of gone.
Well, he did Fair Game.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy Crawford.
That's right. That's another movie I've watched this year. Henry.
I've never seen it.
Oh, my God. You got to see that. That's a great movie.
That'd be fun.
It's super schlocky. It's super cheap looking. There's great explosions. Cindy Crawford's an excellent actress.
Must be amazing. Yeah.
So William Baldwin, the studio was like, maybe, how about George Clooney? Maybe not with William Baldwin. How about that?
Yeah. Schumacher was like, oh, fine.
That's such a weird instinct by Joel Schumacher. Like, they tried the one Baldwin as like a film noir superhero in The Shadow, and Joel Schumacher was like, well, for Batman, let's get the worst Baldwin.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
This movie was nominated for 11 Golden Raspberries.
Was it now?
Yeah, I've got the list right here.
Well, I've got the theme song.
I'd love to hear it.
I know. It's coming. It's coming. Because it's here we go. It's the raspberries,
God.
all we're lacking is little pizzazz, 'cause it's the golden raspberries. It's the word of the words, not the best of the best. It's pizzazz gonna rise.
Okay.
Yeah, I struggled there.
You could barely hear it, but it sounded great. All right. Batman and Robin was nominated for Batman and Robin. Worst picture, Henry.
Yeah. 16, did you say?
11.
11, okay. Yeah. Worst picture.
It lost worst picture to a movie called The Postman.
What?
Okay. We talked a little bit about the 1997 Razzies when we did Speed 2 Cruise Control. So let's return.
Sure.
Chris O'Donnell and Arnold Schwarzenegger were both nominated for Worst Supporting Actor.
Okay. All right.
The winner was Dennis Rodman for Double Team.
That's probably fair.
Mm.
Maybe not.
Uma Thurman was nominated for Worst Supporting Actress for Batman and Robin. And I gotta say, she lost the Golden Raspberry, Henry.
Wait.
To
No winners in this movie.
No. Well, she lost to Alicia Silverstone for Batman and Robin.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
I have to disagree on that. But
Why? What are you disagreeing with?
I think Uma Thurman was worse than Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no even. Come on.
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone's barely in it, and she barely does anything.
Yeah.
Whereas Uma is.
She's all over this, baby.
Over this like a vine on a house.
Oh, good one. Yeah. On the other hand, youth has its advantages. All right.
Save the geriatric bat.
She's great. Okay. Batman and Robin were nominated for the worst screen couple. And they lost to Dennis Rodman and Jean-Claude Van Damme for Double Team.
Okay.
All
Again, do you think that, Batman and Robin should have won that award, probably.
100%. It was nominated for Worst Sequel or Remake, but it lost to Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Wow.
Yeah. And I will say, Speed 2 is worse than this movie.
I disagree.
I think you're crazy. Because Speed 2 is boring.
I agree, but this was boring too because it's exhausting.
Listen, I gotta say,
Speed 2 is not exhausting. It's a snooze fest, but this is
before we get too much into Batman and Robin, I think I would have even more affection for this movie if it was 90 minutes.
Well, I have zero affection.
Well, I have affection for the movie, but it is 2 hours, and it's hard for me to recommend like a good bad movie at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? Right. All right. So it was nominated for Worst Screenplay, but it lost to The Postman. It was nominated for Worst Song, but it lost to The Postman. Worst Song nominee, by the way, was The End is the Beginning is the End by the Smashing Pumpkins, which totally rules, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that song
Postman had a song?
What?
Postman had a song?
I think Kevin Costner wrote some songs for that
movie. Because he's a country singer.
Yeah. The End is the Beginning of the End by Smashing Pumpkins, by the way, but while nominated for Worst Song, won a Grammy for, I think, like Best Rock Song or something.
Look at that.
Grammy nominees came out this week, Henry. Excited about anything?
Give a shit.
Why? Come on. You're not going to support Drake?
My whole life, I never cared about the Grammys, ever.
I did when I was young. I thought they mattered. I used to get mad when bands I like weren't nominated for shit.
Right. I mean, nah, because, whatever, man. I watched it fucking 3.5 years ago. I watched the opening credits when AC/DC opened the show. That was
right. Who's hosting this year? I hope it's LL Cool J in his hat.
That's who hosted it 3.5 years
That's who always hosts it. I feel like every time I tune into the Grammys, there's just LL Cool J going "Welcome to the Grammys. I'd like to present some old guy who doesn't know where he is singing alongside some new guy who's not going to be famous in 4 years. I'd like to bring out to the stage Greg Allman and Hosier or something."
Nice.
Yeah.
We are live from the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion miniature version. They wouldn't give me the real pavilion.
I'd like to welcome to the stage Stevie Nicks and Lil Uzi Vert.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's what it's like. But yeah, I remember when I was a kid, every year I'd be excited and it'd be like, oh, who's gonna win best album this year? And it would always be like fucking Eric Clapton Unplugged or something.
Right.
Eric Clapton is kind of the Kevin Costner of music.
Look, man, Eric Clapton was at least in Cream. Okay? That's a great band. It's a great band.
No, they're not.
Whoa.
Shitty band. Henry.
You think Cream's a shitty band?
Well, yes.
Okay. It's an interesting solo opinion in the world.
It's not a solo opinion. I'm sure plenty of people think that because they're unlistenable.
You're not thinking of Derek and the Dominoes, right?
No, they're unlistenable too.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Cream. I feel like I have to be like some kind of baby boomer, like smoking. I have to be like smoking weed at like a Dukakis rally to enjoy Cream.
A baby boomer in 1988.
Right.
Getting prepared to lose to the now deceased George Bush.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
H-dubs. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Henry, worst reckless disregard for human life and public property was a category that year. Batman and Robin was nominated.
Interesting.
And it lost to Con Air.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's Batman and Robin. Let's talk about it, Henry.
What are we doing? We doing our 97 list before we finally get to
Oh, okay. Could we do it really fast?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Number 10, Gattaca.
Okay. My number 10 is Chasing Amy.
All right. My number 9 is Boogie Nights.
That's crazy. My number 9 is Schizopolis.
My number 8 is Waiting for Guffman.
My number 8 is Good Will Hunting.
My number 7 is Copland.
My number 7 is Hard 8.
That's 96. We've been through this before.
No, we have been through this. It came out in America in theaters in 97.
For sake. Number 6, a movie that came out actually in 97, Chasing Amy.
Number 6 is In the Company of Men.
Great movie. Number 5, heavy hitters, Jackie Brown.
My number 5 is Starship Troopers. It's afraid. It's afraid. Go ahead.
You like Starship Troopers better than you like Chasing Amy.
And Hard 8.
You're a fucking lunatic.
Keep going.
Freeze yourself.
What's that?
Number 4.
Oh, is that from Batman and Robin? Go on.
I just made it up from there. Number 4, L.A. Confidential.
My number 4 is... I also like Starship Troopers more than L.A. Confidential. It didn't make my list. My number 4 is Jackie Brown.
Okay. My number 3 is Good Will Hunting.
My number 3 is Deconstructing Harry.
My number 2 is The Game.
The Game.
The Game.
My number 2 is Waiting for Guffman.
Ooh. The number 1 movie of 1997 is Deconstructing Harry.
And my number 1 is Boogie Nights.
All right.
Batman and Robin. It begins with those bat nipples that we know and love, and tight butt shots, and some sweet crotch shots. And then it's got one of those great scenes where it's like they're getting ready to get into their new neon Batmobile, and Robin opens up this little case that has a motorcycle in it, and it's got these neon Robin bird symbols.
I noticed that.
I think about it like him designing that. I feel like, does Alfred have to deal with the upkeep on this shit?
I know. There's no way to not look at that stuff and think that same thought. I did too. I'm like, man, the time it must take.
Because there's no Morgan Freeman in these movies where, like, Robin could be like, does that come in neon? But,
and as we learned in Batman Returns, which I didn't know or remember, from this part of the franchise, these 4 movies, Alfred says when Michael Keaton, I guess, wrecks the Batmobile a little bit, he's like, it's not exactly like we can take it to the nearest auto shop, Master Wayne. So that leads me to believe that Batman does all of his own building.
yeah, so he's a detective, so he can detect what's wrong with a car.
Right. And he builds all that stuff. He has no Lucius Fox. He just builds it all. So he took the time to build those neon R's.
There's got to be somebody building shit for him, right?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would take a very long time, I would think. But, then again, everything in this movie looks like it took a very, very long time to build.
Oh, yeah. The production design in this movie is amazing. Everything looks plastic, though. Like, there are so many, because it's Mr. Freeze, there's a lot of just, like, stalactites everywhere in this movie.
Yeah.
And they all look like if you just touched them, they would be, like, warm and soft.
Yeah, and there's actually quite a few scenes where things do jiggle.
I know. I noticed a couple of times. So we get some great villains in this movie. Oh, wait. So Robin says, like, why can't I get a car? Chicks dig the car. And see, Batman, who's George Clooney now, he goes, this is why Superman works alone.
Wink, wink to another universe that doesn't exist.
Great joke. Yeah, but that's interesting because, like, no Batman movie yet has acknowledged that, like, the rest of the DC universe exists.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And all of a sudden, like, what's he talking about? Is that a joke? Is Superman like a comic book in this universe? Or is there like a Superman floating around somewhere?
Yeah, there's a Superman, dude. And that's also a callback line, right? Because that's what Kilmer says to Kidman.
Chicks dig the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. That's a throwback for sure.
It's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Because people loved it so much. The first one, what a classic line.
The classic lines on AFI's list.
I love that Schumacher apologized for this movie. Did you happen to read that quote?
Oh.
Schumacher apologized for this movie, but the way he couched it was like, for those of you out there that loved Batman Forever, I'm really sorry for letting you down with Batman and Robin. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? They're the same movie.
Well, we're into it now, so I can ask you. Is the appeal of this to you as a good bad movie that it's just, in your eyes, it's just going for broke?
Oh my god, yes, absolutely. It is.
For me, so with Batman Forever. Not to this degree, but very, very close.
This movie is trying something. It is. I mean, we talked about it last week. Batman Forever is way sillier and more ridiculous than I remembered it being. But I feel as though it was trying to cushion it a little bit. If this was the tone he wanted to go for all along, I feel like he was at least trying to create a transitional movie from the Tim Burton movies.
Okay.
And this Batman and Robin, Henry, is just bonkers to the max.
Right.
It's crazy front to back. Every line of dialogue is nuts.
That's true.
It looks like utter garbage. Everything is a pun. I mean, this is the kind of movie where your sexy lead villain, you want to have her like come out and present herself as sexy in the world. So what do? You put her in a giant gorilla suit and have her dance around in it.
That's right. Yeah. I hadn't recalled that this movie was more 60s comic booky or 50s than any comic book actually ever written.
No, this movie is sillier than the Adam West Batman movie we covered.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And I found that movie exhausting too.
I know.
But, in a more boring way. I found it boring. This is just can't really ever say it's like, Webster's dictionary definition of boring, but it is just it's a chore. And it's like, what is 125 minutes
It's too long. It's way too long. But there's things I loved about it. Wait, well, let's talk about it in more detail.
Yes, let's do that.
So, they got Pat Hingle back for the opening of this movie to play Commissioner Gordon.
He's more than in the opening.
I feel like he is joking around in this movie. Like he's just reading his lines.
Yes.
He's not even acting.
He's trying to. He's just recalling what a great experience Maximum Overdrive was at this point.
I don't even know what he's doing. There's like the opening scene. He pops up on fucking Batman's Batmobile screen like he's fucking Basil Expedition from the Austin Powers movies.
Yeah.
And he goes, "There's a new threat in Gotham. He goes by he's currently in the museum. He goes by the name Mr. Freeze." And that's like,
I'm wondering too, like, what do you think? This is what was going through my mind, among many other things during this movie. What do you think was going on for Clooney at this point?
well, he's trying to break into movies, Henry. He's still on ER at this point.
But he'd made a couple of movies.
Not really. He'd done The Peacemaker. He'd done One Fine Day with Catwoman.
So is it just a gateway product for him?
I think if it's 1997, you're still the lead on a TV show, and someone's offering you the chance to play Batman, you take it.
Yeah, you don't care.
Yeah. Didn't hurt his career none, ultimately.
No, it didn't. And even though he knew he was second fiddle to William Baldwin, he was fine.
I know. Could you imagine a time in America where William Baldwin was first choice and George Clooney was second choice?
No, but at that time in 1997, I couldn't imagine a time in America where Donald Trump would be president. So there's a lot that you can't ever foresee.
Why'd you have to bring it down like that?
I didn't mean to. I just you made me think of what was unthinkable back then, and that's unthinkable now. Yeah. And I did find it. I mean, I guess it's not amazing because it was sort of a Nicholson Keaton thing going on, and you know what I'm going to say. But like Schwarzenegger getting the top bill.
Schwarzenegger did get top billed in this movie, and he got paid $25 million. And he refused to shave his head, so he's wearing a bald cap.
That's 20% of the budget.
He got paid $25 million, Henry. And in one scene in this movie, he's smoking his own cigar.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. He didn't shave his head, but I didn't know that he did that. The bald cap fooled me, I got to tell you.
It looks good. And he's wearing that suit most of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, his little power suit, which he powers with diamonds. Because diamonds are ice.
Diamonds are forever.
Throw your diamonds in the sky.
I'm surprised that there weren't references to Diamonds Are Forever, a pun on that.
Well, that's MGM, buddy. We're not crossing over studios here.
Can't do that.
No. So they get to the museum, Henry. And there he is, Mr. Freeze. He's in there. He's got a bunch of henchmen, and they're dressed up like hockey players but also wearing like Eskimo jackets.
Look, man, it's another one of these Batman movies where we've started with the first Batman with, Tim Burton, where the Joker, they just get him leather coats with a little Joker emblem. We step it up in Returns with the circus gang.
Yeah.
And now Batman Forever, then we're getting a little crazier with some of the goons, and now we're just all out. Mr. Freeze is spending all of that hard-earned cash on costumes for his guys.
Big time.
Everybody's regalia.
Yeah, and he's calling them all frosty, and we get glimpses of them back at the lair, and he's sort of like conducting them in a round of some Christmas songs.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah.
That reminded me.
Now, they're all cold. So we're taking this as like realistic. Like they're, because he has to stay below a certain amount of temp.
Right.
But why? He's also got Vivica Fox, like dressed all sexy, and she doesn't seem cold.
No, she doesn't.
And she's trying to fuck this guy. When he doesn't fuck her, she goes, "Talk about your cold shoulder."
Oh my God. I didn't even recognize her, by the way.
Oh, really? No, that's Vivica A. Fox.
Yeah, it's not 6 years removed from Kill Bill.
This is 1 year after Independence Day.
Oh, boy. Yeah, which we watched for this. I did not recognize her at all.
ID4. Yeah, so they're fighting these henchmen. Robin says, "They're the hockey team from hell." And I'm thinking, Richard Lewis somewhere needs some royalties.
Oh.
And Batman and Robin, they click their boots together and skates come out.
They're ready.
They're always prepared. That to me is like, it's no sillier than shark repellent.
I agree.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not in any way.
No. Also, how do they get those blades in there?
Dude, I don't know. You got to ask the maker.
I know. Who's making those? The boots with blades inside.
I mean, I hope it's not.
And what happens when because they're always running. They've got to tap by accident. Are they like tripping over these blades?
I imagine they would just pop out if they're not perfectly made. And, this might tie in a little bit. I didn't think of this before. When later on in the movie, when Batgirl is telling Robin about how, well, how would you like it? Alfred's never had his own life. He's serving master this and sir that.
And she's 100% right.
Right. But now you're thinking like this puts a new spin on it, I think, folks, what we're talking about here. If he has to make this shit, no wonder he has Ewan McGregor syndrome.
But is he making this shit? Alfred in these movies, he's decrepit and old. He's literally dying in this one. You know that because we linger on him after every scene, clutching his chest.
Sweating
and
so would Michael go at this point for our listeners for continuity's sake? Because God knows we love continuity here. Who are the two returning players only, right?
Michael Gough and Pat Hingle, yeah.
That's it. From the first to the last.
Right.
Yeah.
And Michael Gough, and it's weird that there are even any returning players because these movies are just so different from the Tim Burton movies that it doesn't even make sense to bring actors over from those movies.
But it's a go.
Yeah. Ugh. And Batgirl, Alicia Silverstone is Alfred's niece? ? And she has a perfectly good backstory in the comics. She's fucking Commissioner Gordon's daughter, but I don't know. But yeah, she's the niece in this one, and she tells Robin like he needs his own life. He's been working for this family. Right. His entire life. And Robin, I love Robin's reaction. Is just like, what? He likes it.
He's our British serf.
Yeah. And then they race together. How about that scene?
Really good.
It just stops the movie dead it's like a fucking pod race.
Right. Well, actually, I got to tell you, when she's going to that race and then like he's behind her and Robin's behind her and she takes a look, it reminded me of Fast and the Furious.
It was very Fast and the Furious-y, to the point where you even had a rapper in there, like Ja Rule in Fast and the Furious.
You had got the Coolio.
That's right, Coolio making a sweet
That's right,
cameo.
folks. Henry got it. Henry saw it.
Of course, because that's the rapper that old white people know about. Like, if you ask my dad, like, if I was like, hey, Dad, stop making fun of rap, my dad would be like, what? I like rap. Gangsta's Paradise.
Look, before you call me an old white person, I will say that I am hip to rap, and Public Enemy is the They're still around, right? Public Enemy.
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe, but they're not like.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
That's my rap from 1987.
Of course it is. You don't run DMC in Public
Don't
Enemy.
No, as about as recent as I go with stuff I really dig would probably be Tupac, and that's still
Tupac. He's been dead for 20 years.
Yeah. Dig it.
Dig it.
I do.
Henry.
Mm.
So,
That's me.
Uma Thurman, she plays Pamela Isley.
Mm-hmm.
And she's down there. Where is this? South America?
I couldn't tell because it was very strange. Like they show they're in some sort of swampy Dagobah system.
It is. It's the fucking. They are in the Dagobah system.
Yeah. And she's there, and so I'm like, oh, because I didn't remember this movie at all. So I'm like, okay, so she's got like a thing there, but then she seems to be like a semi-legitimate scientist, and then she opens a door, and it's like an actual mad scientist lab.
Yeah, he's even got like stick-up hair with like white hair. So yeah, she's talking into her tape recorder, and then she pops in there. It's John Glover, superhero count, Lex Luthor's dad from Smallville, and
well done.
Thank you. And he's just like ranting and raving. This is the scene that John Glover says on the DVD special features that he's found it hard to act because Joel Schumacher was standing on a lifeguard chair yelling, "Remember, it's a cartoon."
Get out of here.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Now that DVD commentary, that, you know what, I got to be perfectly honest with you. It never occurred to me. That I'd watch.
Well,
who else is on?
No, that's just DVD special features. I think the commentary is like Schumacher.
Oh, there's special
behind the scenes kind of a thing. I think I think it's like a doc. It's not. It's like an after the fact doc. Like they made it when like the Dark Knight was coming out on DVD.
I want to hear a George Clooney DVD feature.
I'd love nothing more.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I'd love all the classy actors in this movie to get together. I'd love to hear George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Uma Thurman soberly talking about this movie.
That would be great. Do you think Arnold thinks it's silly? Is he? You know, we've talked about it. He knows what he is.
He's
right? He
smart.
He's a smart guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He was the governor.
Yeah, that would be true.
2 governors in this movie, Henry.
Oh, yeah, not the first time this has happened to us.
You caught my boy JV?
Oh,
Jesse the Body as a Arkham Asylum guard.
Looking very strange. Did you notice those black circles under his eyes?
Well, that was makeup.
Like makeup.
That was
didn't
makeup.
Look like
of course it was.
He was too busy running his campaign for Minnesota.
Yeah, I know. Now you stay in there, Freeze. So, anyway, so she's down there in Dagobah, and she opens that door. John Glover's in there, and he's got this like, I guess like a serial killer,
something like that,
named Don Diego, Antonio Diego, or something.
And then Yoda pops up, and he's like, "Put him full of swamp juice, you will.
Yeah, and then
make him into your pain."
And then Uma Thurman goes and chops the mad scientist's head off, and it's the head of Uma Thurman. So that guy turns into Bane. Yeah. And we'll get there to Dark Knight Rises, but we can talk about what the better screen version of Bane is.
Well, it's funny, right? Because this screen take on Bane is like physically looks like the Bane from Nightfall, but they decided in this movie to make Bane a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, it's kind of amazing because also, it's one of like the closest adaptation, like, because Bane had just been created as a character like 4 years
Like
before this
6
movie
years.
came out.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah.
So it's really fast to develop him into a movie character, but like he's developed in the comic as like being this arch nemesis figure for Batman because he's so smart. He's as smart as Batman, and so it's such an odd choice to like have him as like a third banana villain in this movie, like as an idiot who can only say his own name basically. Bane.
Right. Yeah. It's
My
very-
favorite my favorite part is Uma Thurman says something about monkey business, and Bane goes, "Monkey work."
Right. Monkey.
And I like how when he goes out in public, Bane has a little hat and a trench coat. He's like a fucking Ninja Turtle coming up to get pizza.
And he's driving the car. Yeah.
Yeah, how did he learn how to drive?
I don't know. Well,
And he's got a little button on his chest if you need him to like really go crazy.
oh yeah, that was bizarre. I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So Bane's great. By the way, the actor who played Bane, a fellow by the name of Jeep,
He's dead, right?
yeah, he died 2 months after this movie came out.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil. I would have liked to have been surprised, but I had to do my superhero count.
Sure. No, that guy's long dead.
It's like the only thing on his page. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Weird
he was
death,
just this real
right?
big guy. Apparently, he held the record at the time for biggest arms
Oh, really?
in the world.
Really? They were bigger than Hogan's pythons, huh?
Yes.
But he died a weird death, right? Like his body was found like he was fucking hiking or some shit.
Yeah, I think his body just gave out on him. He had so much fucking steroids in him and shit that he just he passed out dead.
Yeah. Ooh.
You can only put so much of that shit in you. Your arms can only be so big before your body's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, very true.
So Schwarzenegger's back. He needs to get diamonds to power his suit, and he can fly sometimes. And also, his plan is to freeze Gotham. Oh yeah, he's got a rocket.
Got a rocket. He wants to freeze Gotham, then the world. I was still trying to figure out the ultimate, like, why that would be.
I don't even know
So-
what the plan is in this
Right.
movie. It's just, both of these movies don't really have plans. It's just like two villains wreaking havoc on Gotham.
Right, like, well, but they both have the same plan, but they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Like, Ivy wants to make the world just full of plants and no humans.
Mhm.
And Freeze wants to freeze the whole world. So I would imagine either they're going to divide along the equator, and he gets like the northern half,
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
and she gets the lower half of the equator. I don't know. It would be strange. And they could fight over Antarctica, what they're going to do with that.
Well,
But
obviously Antarctica would be Mr. Freeze's, Henry.
Well, I know, but if she's going to just get the whole southern part.
Maybe they should just give it to the Penguin.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, he died. He got carried off by his friends.
Oh yeah.
Remember? Universe.
Yeah. That was great. I don't know what the plans are really, but I do like everything that's happening. I like that Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, they really like each other. I like that Poison Ivy is putting Batman and Robin against each other by blowing kisses at them with
That was weird because that, in my mind, in my memory, that was like a real short, quick thing, but it literally lasts
the entire
almost
movie.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't understand what's going on here because Robin seems to never come out of the spell, but Batman seems to go in and out of it. It's very strange.
Well, I think Batman has greater willpower, Henry.
I would imagine.
Because
so.
Robin's a young child, basically. He's supposed to only be like 18.
Right. Played by the 30-year-old Chris O'Donnell.
At least 30 years old. He doesn't have the earring in this one. I noticed that.
Oh,
He's
okay.
getting a little more mature.
Yeah, they took that gaudiness away. Schumacher was like, "That's too much."
Yeah. It's like they had the earring in. And he was like looking at the museum scene with like neon lights everywhere and like shimmering holograms and everything's covered in ice. And he just like plucks the earring out of his ear. Perfect.
Yeah. We're gonna go subtle on this one. On this, yeah. Keep the nipples.
Maybe he has a nipple earring, a nipple ring,
or a dick ring. Who knows, man?
I love every time fucking Alfred calls him Master Dick. I
How
can't
about
take
when
it.
Bruce Wayne calls him as an insult?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Dick.
It's pretty good. I love that gala they go to. You know, it's interesting because, you know, Clooney doesn't really do a Batman voice.
No, he doesn't.
He's just playing George. He's just George Clooney the entire movie.
Which is funny because, look, love George Clooney. And as we talked about Val Kilmer last week, but I mean, neither inhabit. Kilmer's a boring Batman.
Clooney is better than Kilmer.
I just don't know, man.
Putting Batman aside, I just think George Clooney classes up some scenes that are garbage. They're garbage. Every scene in this movie is garbage.
Right.
But like,
right.
There's some scenes where he's just has to be Bruce Wayne. Like some of the scenes where he's talking to like fucking Alfred about his.
He's a better.
When he informs Robin that Alfred is dying, like he can class those scenes up.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Clune class.
Or that scene where he's like walking Alicia Silverstone around the garden.
I don't even remember. Oh, yeah.
I remember everything about this movie.
First,
I've watched this movie a lot, Henry.
Have you seen this Batman more than any other Batman aside from Returns?
I may have seen this more than Returns.
Mm.
I've definitely seen this movie more than the '89 Batman and any of the Nolan ones.
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there you go. I kind of love this movie. Listen, I'm only gonna give it a 2. I can't, in good conscience, go higher than a 2. But because it's garbage, it's really a trashy movie. But like, it's trying too hard. It's the kind of thing where like in my head I can justify giving like Troll 2 a 4.
Right.
But I gave Troll, a movie I also enjoy, a 2 because it's trying to be a real movie. And this movie is trying to be a real movie and failing on every level. But that is very, very enjoyable to watch. And it's failing on such a grand scale because the $125 million Batman movie with some of the biggest stars in the world. And I love just how deeply it fails.
Yeah, it's a deep fail.
It's a deep fail.
Yeah. I think I just coined a new thing there.
What was your favorite Freeze pun?
Oh, boy.
Because there are a lot, Henry. I think I've brought it up on this podcast.
I almost Googled. I should have. I almost Googled like if there was a site where
there's a count I read once. I think there's like 30 because I once did a drinking game with it.
Oh boy!
Where I took a shot of tequila every time there was a freeze pun.
Oh, you didn't make it through that movie.
No, I blacked out before the movie was over.
Yeah, it's 125 minutes. By the 25-minute mark, you're out.
And there's a lot right at the beginning. Like in the museum scene alone, there's like 10 or something. So I was already like losing it.
Hey, throw some at me.
Well, there's the Iceman cometh. And there's always stuff like chill. Or
right.
Yeah. What
oh man, I don't know, man.
There were some that weren't even like puns, like where he'd just be like cool gadget, and it's like that's not a pun, you're just saying the word cool.
Yeah.
What did you like the pathos of his storyline with his wife?
Tragic.
That's taken from the animated series in a really great episode and just done like trash in this.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And is that actually? I don't even know if you'd know this. You might. I don't. I should, being a Batman guy. But is that from Mr. Freeze's origin, if he even has one in the comics?
Well, there's so many, because of all the crises and shit, there's so many origins in the DC universe, but that was a pretty popular one, so I think after that animated series, they adopted that as the comic book origin.
Yeah. Works as, I mean, you have a fucking villain like that, whatever.
Here's some more. Yeah. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
That was pretty good. I remember liking that one.
Here's one I like when he freezes Robin. Stay cool, Bird Boy. Okay. Allow me to break the ice. My name is Freeze. Learn it well, for it's the chilling sound of your doom.
Oh, that's it.
That's a great one.
Yeah, because that's a whole soliloquy right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I like when he freezes Robin. I would honestly like that as a man-sized statue in my house.
No. Okay, so when we make it insanely rich from Patreon, I'm gonna try to get you that. I'm gonna try to get you that.
I would really love it. Try to get Madame Tussauds to commission that.
Yeah. And then people come over to your mansion in the Hollywood Hills and be like,
I'll put it right in the front, as you come in the door.
Right. In the foyer. Yeah, and people will walk by and they'll be like, wow, that's a really cool, is that? No. What? Huh? It'll be really confusing and really great. Yeah. I like it. So you have to have, like, on most statues, there's like a monument inscription. So on the bottom, you have that line from Mr. Freeze on the statue.
Bird Boy.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so that's, there's so much more to talk about that we're just not getting to.
Well, we'll get to a little probably because when we get to MVPs, LVPs, if we missed anybody.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to give it a 1.
A 1, yeah. I mean, I was expecting that, but it still hurts.
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a really bad piece of shit. I don't get as we know, I don't get quite the enjoyment you do out of watching stuff like this. But, yeah, I mean, it wasn't worse than I remembered. It was exactly as bad.
Come on.
Whereas Forever was worse. And I mean, I remembered it being very bad, but it was worse. This is just as bad. So, didn't go down. Stayed at a 1. No.
Okay.
That's something.
I mean, I guess. Sure.
Yeah.
Who's your MVP? Oh, my MVP is Schwarzenegger. I fucking love Schwarzenegger in this movie. I don't know how intentional this performance is. I think he's just having a real nice time. And every line he says puts a smile on my face.
Yeah. Well, if we're going that direction, and
and look, if we're being genuine, if we're treating this as a real movie, I think Michael Gough is actually pretty good with his stupid death storyline.
Yeah, from McGregor syndrome.
McGregor syndrome. I know it's supposed to be like Huntington's disease or something.
Yeah, you didn't catch my little Ewan McGregor joke earlier.
No, I didn't. He's got all those weird lines about like Peg, and how about there's a lot of weird computer stuff in this movie too. I feel like Alfred is constantly holding like CDRs.
Yeah. Alfred is good with a CD. He first introduced it back in 1992 with Batman Returns. When he gives it to Michael Keaton to play.
Oh, that's right. When the Penguin was going to play the city like a harp from hell.
Like a harp from hell.
There's sort of a similar trick in this movie too, where like Uma Thurman says something mean about like Mr. Freeze's dead wife or something. Yeah. As I said when I pulled the plug on Lady Freeze or some shit.
Yeah.
What is up with that?
Right.
Every like other word is emphasized with her. Like, hell, I am Mother Nature.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a weird rhythm of speaking.
I think that Uma, who is my LVP,
Mine too. And she's great too. Everything she says puts a smile on my face. But I just think like I think she's trying to be a villain and I'm not sure what the fuck she's doing.
I think she is. I was going to ask you about her genuineness. I think she's just like, I'm going to play like a Julie Newmar type of Catwoman, you know, that's what I'm going to do.
It's a very strange period for her. Like between Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, like have you ever seen that movie The Avengers?
No, that's the Ralph Fiennes thing, right?
Yeah, where she's playing Emma Peel and like
but she made Gattaca this same year.
I mean, she can still give a good performance in like a real movie, but I think like after Pulp Fiction, they started putting her in like big budget action movies and I don't think she has any idea what she's doing.
No, I agree, but that's what Pulp Fiction did, dude. I mean, unfortunately, that's what it did to Travolta.
Sure, but Travolta made a few good movies after that.
Disagree.
Face Off, Broken Arrow.
Deep Fail.
Shut the fuck up. You're not making that a thing.
Sam Jackson is the only one who came out, you know, unscathed, even though he made a bunch of shit. Didn't matter.
Well, because he made so much that he could make like 4 bad movies a year and he'd still make 2 good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so she's getting my LVP. She's real bad. You know, my MVP, I guess I'll go with you on it. I mean, it's just nothing here for me. So I guess I'll go with Arnie. I mean, but it is just whatever, man. I don't know what to give the MVP to here. I mean, it is nothing to grab onto. But for those one-liners alone, he probably deserves it.
This is an incredibly enjoyable film. And while I give it a 2, I'd recommend it to anybody out there.
I give it a 1. I don't recommend it to anybody. Unless you're starting from scratch and want to go all the way through, you know, it's worth it to see.
Really? Like to watch every Batman movie?
If that's what you're doing.
I think you could skip this. If you,
no, that's my point. Would be the only reason to watch it is if you're going to go through and you are interested in seeing every single incarnation. Oh, I already know what mine are. I only have 4. So it doesn't matter to me, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
Oh, Henry, I skipped my 2 favorite moments in this entire movie.
Please.
Okay. Hey, we didn't, all, by the way, talk about Elle Macpherson as Bruce Wayne's love interest.
You know what? She probably gives the best performance.
No, she's terrible. Henry, you're thinking with your dick here.
No.
That American accent on her, Henry. Why did they have her do an American accent? She's not even an actress.
That she went up to the shoemaker and said, you know, I can do an American accent.
She can't. She so can't.
I saw that you let Nicole do one in the previous Batman movie, and I could do just as good a job. And by the way, it's probably better than Nicole Kidman.
It's not, Henry.
No?
It's so incredibly bad. It's one of those accents where I wasn't, like, it took me a while to understand whether she was trying to do an accent.
I actually got to tell you something, man. I didn't remember her nationality, so I didn't even pay attention.
You're crazy.
I didn't. It wasn't as overtly bad to me as Nicole Kidman, but I also don't know anything about Elle Macpherson, so probably Nicole Kidman. I was just paying more attention.
Well, I've only ever really seen Elle Macpherson in her story arc on like season 6 or something of Friends.
No. Hugh Grant vehicle too, right? Sirens.
Oh, yeah, that movie. Now, but that's not one of the things I want to talk about. I want to say my favorite moment in this entire movie is that Asian scientist laughing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, but I don't remember what.
I laugh at this every time where, like, they're in that science lab. It's the Gotham Observatory, which is a building that's being held aloft in the sky by a giant statue.
Yeah, I like that. Right.
And, they, Poison Ivy comes in and says that she thinks, like, everyone should stop being mean to plants or something. And it's a crazy monologue. And then they just cut to this Asian male scientist in the crowd just going, ha, 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 ha. And that makes me laugh every time I watch this movie.
You're good.
And my other favorite moment in this movie is Bruce. No, it's Mr. Freeze gets handed a newspaper, and the headline is Bruce Wayne to give away diamonds at a gala, and Schwarzenegger reads the newspaper aloud. And there's two funny things about it. Because first of all, he doesn't read the whole. It's just a headline. There's like 10 words in it, but he seems to skim even the headline, and he just says out loud, "Bruce Wayne diamonds."
Oh,
And then after he says that, he goes, "Very nice," and he sounds like fucking Borat.
oh my God! Wow, I don't remember very nice, but I do remember him thinking, okay, we're gonna get a headline reading, and he just truncates it.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne diamonds, very nice.
Oh wow, yeah, that's some impressive stuff.
I loved it. Okay, so should we talk about Batman Begins?
Yeah, I do have
superhero count, right? Hurry up.
Sorry, I wish I could. We'll play the theme this time. We're not going to probably have time for Batman Begins because of my new technical issues. You want to hum that theme for me, Dan?
No. What's the superhero count?
Okay, here we go. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Red Sonja.
Right. He's in that?
Lord Calidor. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, he's in that movie and doesn't play Conan?
That's correct.
That's weird.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Maybe I don't know anything about Conan. Maybe it's an earlier
I thought they were same universe.
Yeah, no, they are. But I don't know. Conan the Barbarian plays Conan. It's actually not a long superhero count on this movie. Number 2, John Glover.
Yeah, Lex Luthor's dad.
Lionel Luthor also played Darkseid, Jor-El, and Clark Kent in Smallville.
What?
That's what it says. It says in Smallville he played all of these roles.
I mean, it's probably some one weird episode where he's like, shape-shifting or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Superman the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series, recurring stable role there as the Riddler.
Oh, yeah, I bet he'd be good at that. By the way, John Glover, I always like that guy when he shows up and stuff. And he's good as anybody in this movie. He's just asked to be a maniac.
Yeah, he is. You're right. Jack
Bane of humanity!
Jack Betts. That's right.
Who's that?
He was he's the party guest at that big gala with the big long mustache. Looks like an old Hollywood icon.
Oh yeah, well he's bidding on Poison Ivy like $50,000.
That's right, and that guy was in Batman Forever playing a fisherman. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was in the 2002 Spider-Man playing a character named Henry Blacken.
I don't.
Spider-Man? Oh. Okay. My favorite pull, the great senator from Vermont, Senator Pat Leahy.
Yeah, that's right. So many government employees in this film.
Well, you know that Pat Leahy's a huge Batman fan, right?
No. Why would I know that?
Because I thought, he's in 2 of the Nolan ones. He's in Beavis Dodge. And he plays like a Wayne board member. And then in Batman the Animated Series, he plays a territorial governor.
What's he the senator of?
In Batman vs Superman Dawn.
Oh wait, he's an actor?
Oh, in real life, you mean? What is he?
Yeah.
He's a senator, so the senior senator from Vermont, Democrat. He's been in office for like fucking 40 years, and he just loves Batman. So,
But
being
why?
a senator,
But why?
he has pull. And he
How does he have pull? The senator of Vermont is able to be like, put me in all the Batmans.
100%. He even did something else where he was like narrating a documentary on the 50s and 60s actual comic of Batman or something. Yeah. He's the guy. We'll talk about it in Dark Knight, but we might not. He's the guy in Heath Ledger's. He actually has a line when Heath Ledger's at the party, and the guy, he grabs a guy, and the guy goes, "We won't be terrorized by thugs." Something like that. Remember that?
No. Does he have any lines of Batman and Robin?
Don't know, but it says he played himself.
Okay, well that's all I'm interested in.
Right. He was just Senator Pat Leahy in this one, and then it was like, when we get him back, we're gonna get him a role. Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
Jesse Ventura, obviously, was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 cartoon.
As who?
Doesn't say.
Okay, maybe just Jesse the Body Ventura. He'd be a good villain for the Ninja Turtles.
And finally, I think you'll like this. I thought I saw Nicky Cat in this movie.
Nicky Cat it's so weird that there's only one actor who what?
Was he a henchman in this? He plays somebody named Spike in this.
I think he's in like the one of the motorcycle gangs.
That's what I thought.
And it's so weird because he shows up in the fucking Is it Dark Knight?
Right, he's a SWAT team guy who has a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, I love Nicky Cat. He's like a kind of a personal favorite actor, and it's so weird that he's in both the Schumacher and Nolan Batman movies.
Very strange, yeah, and he was in Sin City as well, playing a character named Stuka.
Okay.
Nicky Cat, actually, a very nice guy. He used to come into the Chelsea Barnes and Noble.
Really? I would be so excited to see that dude in real life.
He's really cool. He would come into Chelsea Barnes and Noble, just shop for DVDs, hang out. Yeah, very cool, nice guy. All right.
Yeah, we're just smoking some fucking marijuana. You got a problem with that?
What's that a reference
Dazed
to?
and Confused.
Oh, see, my Nicky Cat go to his Boiler Room.
Well, he's great in that too. Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, Boiler Room. He's an asshole. He's an asshole in everything, but
that's what he's good at.
Yeah, he's a great asshole. But he's in a
Dark
bunch of
Knight.
Linklater movies.
He's in The Dark Knight because he was in Insomnia.
So what? So he's pals with Nolan now?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
God. All right. Can we talk about Batman Begins?
We're gonna take a commercial break.
Okay, so after Batman and Robin, they're working on a fifth movie. Schumacher's going to direct it. It was called Batman Triumphant, and then I think Batman Unchained was a version of this, and it was supposed to have Scarecrow and Harley Quinn in it.
Okay.
And I remember him talking about wanting Howard Stern as the Scarecrow.
Sounds like something I remember distantly.
Yeah. So that got shit canned because everybody did not want that movie to get made. But he worked on it for like a long time. Like even after they were like announcing other directors, Schumacher kept saying he wanted to make another movie. He was like trying to convince Warner Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, this was the one that got away. I think he felt really bad about Batman and Robin and like wanted to make like a serious Batman movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to be. So there were a bunch in development. At one point, they were going to make a live-action version of Batman Beyond, which was the Batman in the Future animated series.
Right.
That was in development for a while. Then they were going to do Batman versus Superman, which was Wolfgang Peterson.
Right.
And then they were going to do Batman Year One with Darren Aronofsky. There were a lot of Batman movies in development. And I guess Warner Brothers got set on the Batman Year One idea, and then they approached Christopher Nolan, who was a pretty young up-and-comer at this point. He wasn't Christopher Nolan yet.
That's true.
He had only done Memento and Insomnia. Is that true?
And Following, Memento, and Insomnia.
The Following doesn't count. That's not really a movie.
Yes, it is.
I'm joking.
I fucking own it on Criterion.
That's on Criterion.
Fucking A.
Shame on you, Criterion.
I bought it for $1 at a library sale.
Good. That's what it's worth.
You don't like Following?
No, it's totally fine. Actually, I like that movie, but it's just funny because it's like 70 minutes long, and it's
Yeah. So he makes Following. It's great. Memento's terrible, but it's a huge success critically, right?
Right.
Everyone loved that fucking movie except me and every one of my friends.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
Right? It's unanimous consent on that movie.
Yeah, that'll be the bottom of both of our Nolan lists next week, I'm sure.
It'll be definitely the bottom of mine. With you, I don't know.
No, I think that's still my least favorite, even though I haven't liked some of his other movies.
Right. No, it sucks. I liked Insomnia. I saw that in the theater. You're lukewarm on that if you care at all.
It's okay. I saw that movie in theaters also, and I enjoyed it. But it just did not signal anything to me. Like, I didn't walk away from Insomnia thinking, like, I gotta see everything this guy does.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't see Following till years later. I didn't see that till
Nor did I.
After Batman Begins. But I think Insomnia, for me, like, Memento, while I hated it, really, really hated it, it was the first exposure to Nolan I had, so I was done, right? Then Insomnia looked kind of like a cool movie to me at the time. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's the guy who did Memento. Okay, so he can make a very good movie because I really liked it.
It didn't signal anything to me. To me, like, I thought it was so weird when, like, Inception came out and all of a sudden, like, people were talking about Christopher Nolan as being, like, an important filmmaker. Like, he was, like, this guy to me. Like, Memento sucked. He made, like, Insomnia, which was fine. Then he went off and did a Batman movie. And, like, now he's making, like, this fucking summer blockbuster with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well,
like...
Yeah, but I feel like Nolan was big right after Batman Begins because then after Batman Begins, it gave him all the clout.
But I know. Well, absolutely, it gave him the clout he needed. But I saw The Prestige and enjoyed that. Okay, but like nothing he ever made really signaled to me like this guy's important. And honestly, it wasn't until recently like. I didn't love either one of these movies, but like Interstellar and Dunkirk. There's auteur at work with those movies.
Yeah, and that's a compliment coming from you because I was pretty sure I know you really did not like either of those movies,
especially Dunkirk.
Right. And I loved Dunkirk. Interstellar would be pretty low on my list, even though I did like parts of it. I thought were excellent.
That's a movie I can respect the ambition at work. You know.
Right. But you did not like Inception, right?
I liked Inception, okay.
You know what? We should save all this because we're going to be...
Yeah, next week we're going to rank them. Okay.
But in general, we're trying to give a little background to Nolan because I think that's important. So he gets this massive break here.
Sure. He makes... this is Batman Starts, and Nolan's in it. He's co-writing it with David S. Goyer, the biggest fucking hack in the world. I mean,
give me some Goyer credits here.
Goyer?
Is that about?
He makes beans.
That's Goya if you're like from what, Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Goya.
Yeah. He has Ghosts. I don't know
Ghosts.
Goya's Ghosts.
Oh.
David Goyer, David Goyer's been around for fucking ever. He's been writing bullshit movies since like the 80s, and then he wrote Blade, and that like gave him an in on comic book movies.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He wrote all the Blade movies, and he wrote and directed the third one that no one likes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he's involved in this movie, but I imagine the good parts are Nolan. I think he probably wrote the first draft of this baby.
Right.
The one that got Nolan attached. And so, whatever. Released June 15th, 2005, We went 8 years without a Batman movie. Big budget of $150 million. Box office of 375.2. It didn't really set the world on fire, but it made money, and it was well liked enough that they greenlit a sequel.
Yeah, it was pretty critically acclaimed. I think that there's a few things about that surprised me. One, I thought it made more money. Two, I think it was one of those movies that was kind of a creeper. Like it was for me. Like I was really excited about it when it was coming out. And then here's something you may not know. When I saw it in the theater, I was a little disappointed. But it gained traction with me enormously upon rewatch, like hugely upon a rental, and then I bought it. I even bought one of those Subway copies of the DVD.
What does that mean?
Like, they sell they used, I don't know if they do it anymore now.
Oh, bootleggers?
Yeah, I bought a bootleg in a Subway.
I've only done that a couple times. I have a few.
And it wasn't bad, but it came with a bonus on it with the Aaron Farinelli, Five-Timer Club, knew all about it. The Batman versus Alien versus Predator short film. Did you ever see that?
It's a fan film, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I don't watch fan films. Come on.
It was on a DVD. It was cool. But one of the reasons I think that the movie didn't work for me as well when I saw it in the theater was I think when I saw it in a theater that is no longer around, it was on 8th Avenue, down the street from the AMC in Chelsea. You know that one, the AMC Lowe's in Chelsea.
Yeah, 19th Street, that one. Oh, in Chelsea.
20,
Sorry, got it. Yeah.
23rd and 8th, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
There was a small little, like, I don't know if it was Regal, but it was a real smaller theater, and I saw it in there, and the fucking sound was so loud that all of the movie that is bombastic was just, like, quadrupled. And it was so distracting to me, I could not handle it. I was just like, this is ridiculous, like, especially towards the end, with the subway sequence and all that, and I was just like a little bit turned off, and I was like, boy, they sort of blew that a little bit, not all of it. But then, like I said, it really completely changed my opinion when I rewatched it, and then of course the waiting for The Dark Knight just made me watch it again and again. And again.
I'm mixed on this movie, and we'll talk about it more.
Well, what's your journey with it though? Because that's sort of mine.
I liked it a lot the first time I saw it. Then I kept watching it, and I think I liked it more, too. But the things I didn't like about it on the first viewing, I never started to like.
Yeah. That's fair. I don't think it's a perfect movie. And, having said that, while we're staying in Bold Statement City right now, I will reiterate what I wrote to Madison Apitz, listener of the franchise.
Okay.
She emailed me once a short while ago asking me what my favorite franchise of all time was. And I said, that's a very hard question, but a good one. And I said there had to be two sort of categories. The longest running franchise, that's my favorite franchise of all time, would be James Bond. But if I had to pick a trilogy or something that is just, its own universe, its own franchise, it would be this Dark Knight trilogy, and that is still the case.
That doesn't surprise me that that's your answer, but it wouldn't even be in the conversation for my answer.
No, I didn't think it would be, but yeah, I mean, I really thought long and hard about the questions. I
like all three of these movies, but it doesn't. I don't have much affection for them. I respect these movies more than I like them. And maybe I feel more about the first one that way. Mm-hmm. It's just, listen, can I do the stats, and then we could fucking talk about this movie? Absolutely. Yep. It was nominated for an Oscar for Best Cinematography, Henry.
All right.
We don't have the shit. It lost to Memoirs of a Geisha, okay? Talk about a guy that owes his entire life to Christopher Nolan. Wally Pfister. For fuck's sake. This talentless guy.
call him talentless. He's a talented cinematographer.
I don't know that he's adding much to these movies.
You think Nolan does a lot of the shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of thought that too. But
where else do you see this guy? If this guy was so talented, wouldn't he work on, say, movies that aren't directed by Christopher Nolan?
Well, he did direct that great Johnny Depp movie.
Oh, Transcendence!
I saw that.
I see that his latest directing credit on IMDb is a Taco Bell commercial. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Henry, this movie was nominated for some MTV Movie Awards.
Of course.
I loved all of it. By the way, Christian Bale won Best Hero at the MTV Movie Awards that year.
Sure.
Cillian Murphy was nominated for Best Villain. But I'm sorry, Henry. He lost.
Who did he lose?
He lost to Hayden Christensen for Star Wars Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith.
Well, that lava scene's really good.
Love him. And Henry, this movie was nominated for Best Movie of the Year.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it lost, Henry.
Can I guess?
Please do. You're never going to get it. It's so good.
MTV Movie Award.
Yes.
Must have been. Oh, I'd go with MTV. Would probably pick something like Robert Redford's An Unfinished Life.
No, that wasn't nominated.
War of the Worlds.
No, it's a good guess.
I don't know.
No, it lost Best Movie that year to a great film called Wedding Crashers.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I just want to point out, it was also nominated for Best Movie at the Teen Choice Awards.
Uh-huh.
And it also lost to Wedding Crashers.
Boy,
you'll forget how big Wedding Crashers was.
I do, specifically because that was the same year as 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yes, but I always remember how big Wedding Crashers was because I was working at Blockbuster at the time, and people would... that was the big argument, was what's better, 40-Year-Old Virgin or Wedding Crashers?
But I'm just going to say, yeah.
And that's how you could tell who's stupid.
That's right. And I knew that from when I saw 40-Year-Old Virgin in New York and when we were selling Wedding Crashers and 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I could tell the customers apart in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was selling, you were renting. Yeah.
By the way, that Teen Choice Awards that year, Henry, was co-hosted by Dane Cook and Jessica Simpson. Just to give you an idea of what was going on in America in 2005.
Wow.
Dane Cook and Jessica Simpson. And also featured a live musical performance by an up-and-coming young artist named Kevin Federline.
Talk about great hip-hop, dude.
Fucking yeah, man. That's authentic hip-hop, baby. Like, it's like, you know, that's the line. It was Public Enemy, and then a few years later, Tupac came about, and then Kevin Federline.
Eminem, and then Kevin Federline.
Right, I guess he bridged the gap.
The gap.
Yeah.
Like the Tumblr.
Yeah, the Tumblr. This movie came in at number 8 at the box office for that year, right between Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Madagascar. Do you think Tim Burton was at all pumped that he made a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie and it made more money than this?
I believe he probably was, and he was probably still pumped that his Batman made more money relatively, right, of its year.
Well, certainly the first one, yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it was like he had number 2 movie of that year, I believe. Right?
It was number 1, I think.
Number 1. I always think Ghostbusters 2 was okay. Yeah.
So could we do our 2005 list really, really fast?
Yep.
Okay.
And I did this list a while ago, so here you go. Number 10, Batman Begins.
Number 10, Munich.
Too low. Number 9, The Squid and the Whale.
Number 9, War of the Worlds. Squid and the Whale's too low.
Number number 8, Cinderella Man.
Number 8, Junebug.
I'm going to say right now that's too low for me to put Cinderella.
It is. You're not being honest with yourself.
Not
I lived with you for a year, 365 days. I think you watched Cinderella Man 248 times.
You're right. I believe you're
I'm
right.
only kind of exaggerating.
A little, not much.
Yeah.
So that's my number 8, Cinderella Man. What's your 8?
Junebug.
Number 7, never saw it. Number 7, A History of Violence.
My 7 is 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Ooh. My number 6 is War of the Worlds.
My 6 is History of Violence.
Uh-huh.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah. My number 5 is The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
My number 5 is Match Point.
My number 4 is Munich.
My number 4 is Grizzly Man.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I'd
just like to point out that Werner Herzog listened to the Timothy Treadwell tape. I don't see our Lord and President Donald Trump listening to that Saudi journalist tape.
Oh!
I'd like to say that Werner Herzog is braver.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Joke. Wow. What an esoteric, convoluted joke. All right. Number 3, another Christian Bale, not vehicle, but he's in it. The New World.
My number 3 is Good Night and Good Luck.
My number 2 is Brokeback Mountain.
That's my number 2.
Okay. And the number 1 movie of 2005 for me is Good Night and Good Luck.
And mine is The Squid and the Whale.
Oh. Not a bad year. Pretty good year.
Yeah, no.
It's not a, you know.
Yeah, it's not like
set.
hit after hit after hit, but it's a lot of movies I have a lot of affection for.
I think I own almost every movie on my list.
Okay, can we
That's
talk
a-
about fucking Batman Begins and not about your physical media collection?
Of which you have about 1,000 more than
I
me.
know.
Yeah. Including, I believe, The Dark Knight Rises, courtesy of me.
That is true.
Right?
I think I have.
I gave you the DVD of that.
I think I might own Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises and not Dark Knight.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's interesting.
I bought Batman Begins myself, so I enjoyed it enough that I purchased this film when it came out on DVD.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So this movie, can we start talking about it sort of an hour in? Because the first hour is really boring.
I disagree. but once the first, I did actually make a note that once that first hour kicks in, baby, we're off and running.
We are. I was really.
I like the setup, but
I was kind of down on this movie for a while while I was watching it for this rewatch, and it really is. It's one of the things where just like once we get back to fucking Gotham, it's heavy hitters. Like every scene is kind of awesome.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I happen to love the stuff in the prison and in the Ninja League of Shadows camp. I think it's very cool. You didn't dig that.
Man, it's just like
You think it's too heavy-handed?
We've talked about it on the podcast. I don't like mysticism. Any ancient Chinese or ancient Native American.
Yeah, it's not supernatural. I mean, we should mention that. at
Ra's
least.
al
It's not
Ghul?
in the comic.
Yeah,
He
he's
is.
supernatural in the comic, but
Not this.
I mean, in this, it's just like a bunch of ninjas and Ken Watanabe sitting there getting not used as an actor, and I just don't. I don't know. Liam Neeson's pretty good.
I liked it. I mean, I remember this was another part on my original viewing in the theater, finding it to be too ponderous.
It's totally. It's not horrible, Henry, but
I
like.
didn't think this, yeah.
But I just think like it's one of those things. If I'm gonna put this movie on to watch, it's always in the back of my mind. Oh, I gotta get through all that stuff.
Right. Well, I just think there's enough. I think I like the backstory, the way it's structured, where we don't get too much Bruce Wayne. We get like I like kind of this. I didn't really pay attention before the the staggered timing of it. Like, that's the wrong word. The staggered chronology.
Yeah.
Where you kind of get him in the prison, and then you go back to before he like leaves Gotham, and he's like kind of a weakling. And I mean, that scene with Tom Wilkinson is fucking dynamite. That's a great scene in the bar. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It's okay.
I think it's really good. And I mean, there's still a little bit of a quick scene there that I must say makes me cringe every time.
Is it the pearls? We get to see the pearls again.
No, I mean, I think that scene comes across pretty well for two reasons. I think the guy playing Thomas Wayne is Linus Roach is like an actual actor.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good. And the guy playing Joe Chill is just a great character actor. So like you actually get to see that. I thought that was kind of cool. But no, the scene that makes me is when Katie Holmes drops off young Bruce at the in the Narrows, and he goes in to see Carmen. But he pulls his gun out, and he's upset that he didn't get to kill Joe Chill, and she slaps him
twice.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know if it's Katie Holmes. Just kind of, it's just not.
This was a weird crossroads at the career of Katie Holmes, and
it was. She did like Pieces of April, and she was kind of a thing. Wonder Boys, right?
Well, she was. She came up on the Creek, and she was great on that show, and like. She could have had a career there for a while, and she was making interesting choices. She got naked in The Gift by Sam Raimi, and Pieces of April was an interesting movie, and by Lucas Hedges' dad, and I don't know what happened. Like she made this, she married Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise killed her career.
Probably right.
I think she's blacklisted or something.
Probably is.
Because where do you see her now? Like, she's good.
Oh, Mad Money. Yeah,
Mad Money.
Yeah, she's probably got some PTSD from that whole experience, I would imagine. And, she's just not really... I think the contrast was really underlined in The Dark Knight when you see Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Rachel Dawes is a character with some depth.
I didn't even need to see The Dark Knight to understand that, because I like Katie Holmes as an actress, and
I had no feeling about her at the time, yeah.
And when, I was excited that she was in this movie, and then when I saw the movie, it was like, God, everyone in this movie, it's Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine and Christian Bale and shit.
Really should talk about that cast.
Yeah, and right. So it was like odd that, like, Katie Holmes, it was like one of these things is not like the others. And
right. Very true.
And so when The Dark Knight, when it was announced, even well before The Dark Knight came out, that Maggie Gyllenhaal was going to be replacing Katie Holmes as that character, normally with like a different actress replacing someone in a series as the same character, like my instinct is like, that's fucking weird. And my instinct when that was announced was more just like, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by it at all, and I would have been in a series with such great continuity. This trilogy, we're talking about. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so she's the weak link in this movie.
That said, I remembered her being like really hard to take in this movie, and I think she's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like that one scene. She's not in the movie that much, and she has other scenes that aren't bad. She just tends to be a little mawkish and maudlin for my tastes, and she doesn't pull it off as well. They both have
6 years on a soap opera. I mean, but this movie gets a little mawkish and maudlin. The scene where where like he goes into like
the little kid scenes are.
What's the scene? Who goes to like check out all the homeless people? Like, look, this is what's going on in Gotham now.
That's Katie. Oh, that's the scene
that's the scene you're talking about. Like, what is going on in that? What point is Christopher Nolan trying to make in that scene?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a strange hybrid. It's because also production design wise, I think it's awesome, but like they get more and more realistic and realistic as the trilogy goes on. Because
I don't like the production design in this movie.
Well, let me tell you what I was going to say was what's interesting is that you're in Chicago, obviously, and then you cut to almost when they go to the Narrows and anywhere where it's poor, or that whole climax at the end, it's all very different looking, like too different looking. It's like very almost animated kind of, and it's a strange choice
because it seems like sets. Everything just looks like sets in this movie, and
not much else in the movie does. I mean, it all looks very real because I think a lot of it was location shot.
I don't know enough about that. Anytime I get to the Wikipedia entry on this movie, the part that's always titled "filming," where it's just like filming locations and shit, I tune out.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, I think some of it was shot in London and all that, but but yeah. So you didn't like the production design on, I mean. What, any of it? I mean,
no, I think I probably thought it was fine when it came out, but the aesthetics of the other two movies appeal to me so much more because it looks much of the time just like they're shooting outside. Like it looks more like real life.
Yeah, it's true. And so, what did you think of? I'm trying not to nerd out too much because it'll go long.
Going nuts. I mean, whatever. It's going to be a long episode. We're already at like 2 hours.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you think of, let's just get right to it. What'd you think of Bale?
I remember thinking the Batman voice was silly at the time, but I kind of don't anymore. It's a choice. He's making a choice for the character, and it's the early days of Batman, and he's decided that he doesn't want people to know that it's Bruce Wayne, and so he's doing a crazy voice, and that's the voice he's doing. It kind of works for me now. I like a lot of what Bale does in this movie. I mean, Bale's a really classy, great actor, and he gained the weight back from The Machinist to make this movie, and I think he does the job. I think he's a good Batman.
There's something else going on in this movie that no one ever talks about, but I'm pretty sure that it's true, and it's all up to your ears, really. But he's not fully doing that Batman voice yet.
Of course,
he's not really doing it. No, he's really not. The first time he really has any line of dialogue, like he is when he stops Katie Holmes in like the subway, like the L train, and he just basically says, he's talking in a semi-normal voice.
Because he's not afraid to let Rachel know who he is at that point.
Well, yeah,
he has that line like seconds later that like reveals his identity to her.
Yeah, but even no, that's at the end. That's at the end. I'm talking about
where she goes, Bruce.
Oh yeah, right. Yes, that's different. But I'm even talking about when he's talking to Ra's al Ghul on the subway at the end. I mean, he's not really doing the growl.
Well, but I think it depends on who he's with. Like when he's with people in this movie who he doesn't want to know his identity, people like Gordon or like mobsters or whatever, like he's doing the voice. But at this point, what?
This will come up again because this has been. I've actually heard this talked about, geeked out. I haven't myself, but because I've never paid it that much attention. But I've heard people making jokes about like, why is he using the Batman voice when he's dressed like Batman alone with Alfred in the cave?
Is he doing that?
Yeah, maybe not in this movie, but he does, I guess, in subsequent movies. So, like, why?
I never noticed that. But yeah, he's doing it. He's with Ducard at the end, or Ra's al Ghul, or whatever he is. Yeah, and that dude knows who Bruce is.
Wayne. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's a very good point. You could be. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all it is. I want to say that I think the best casting besides Christian Bale, and this went through my head through this whole movie, is 100% Gary Oldman.
Yeah, who he was originally offered the role of Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then Nolan wanted Chris Cooper to play Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, and Chris Cooper turned it down. I don't know what business Chris Cooper has turning down this movie.
Jeez.
Yeah, but and then after he turned it down, Nolan had the bright idea, like, well, it would be interesting if you played like a really nice guy.
It is brilliant. I mean, he is so fucking good.
He's great.
Mean, he is the Jim Gordon of, year one. One of my favorite comics ever, and probably yours. And he's so good. I mean, it's just so not one-dimensional, and we're only in the first movie. I mean, he's just so great, and you get the great Mark Boone Jr. playing Flass.
Yeah, and Gordon adds a little levity to the movie. There's a few, there's some of the comic relief in Batman Begins doesn't work, and I think
Give me examples. I think most of it does, but go ahead.
I gotta tell you, I can do without a lot of the Morgan Freeman stuff.
Really?
Yeah. This movie is over-explainy, Henry. I just don't need to know where he gets all this shit. I don't. I don't need to see Bruce Wayne, like welding batarangs, and I don't need to see him asking this dude, like, does it come in black or whatever.
I think it's great.
I don't know. And there's like one scene where they're talking about the fucking Batcave, and Alfred is like, your grandfather freed slaves using the Batcave was one part of the Underground Railroad. And I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to here?
That line has always bothered me. Now, that line is not comic relief, but it is way too much, because it's like we're already given Thomas Wayne is a fucking saint. All right. We already know this. He's like a canonized person who tried to turn Gotham around and was gunned down because of his own, liberal socioeconomic developments and all that. And then we get the line, they go down in this very cool scene where they're going down like a rusty ass old elevator, and like, you don't even need any dialogue. And Alfred's like, your great-great-grandfather used to bring slaves up to Gotham. It's like, oh my God. So the entire Wayne family is basically a bunch of Mother Teresa's.
That's what I want to see, Henry, is a prequel that takes place during the fucking 1800s about like
Gotham by Gaslight.
Gotham by Gaslight, just Wayne ancestors shuttling slaves through Gotham.
I'd love to say that doesn't exist, but it probably does.
Of course it does. Every conceivable Batman story exists. It's disgusting.
I agree. I think I have one where he's a cowboy.
Of course you do.
What was those? Elseworlds? Is that what they were called?
Sure, Elseworlds. Tonight there's a crossover on the WB, all those shows, that's called Elseworlds. I don't know why. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. He says. I just love Gary Oldman. I just think the Scarecrow, Cillian Murphy's great.
Can I ask you a question? Why didn't that guy become like a huge star?
I think he's as big as he actually wanted to be. I mean, I don't know. I think, he gets cool roles, and he's on that great Netflix show, Peaky Blinders.
I mean, sure, but like,
what do you mean? I mean, he's
you don't think that guy could have been like a Michael Fassbender? He's this like really good-looking, good actor.
Man. Too weird.
He's not weird looking. He's conventionally attractive, Henry.
You think? Actually, it's Cillian. I keep saying it.
Whatever.
I know. You think Cillian Murphy's conventionally attractive?
I think Cillian Murphy's just like a hot dude.
That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think, I guess but I mean, he makes these Danny Boyle films like 28 Days Later, Sunshine. He's always
That's years ago. What's he doing now?
Peaky Blinders. He's completely engrossed in that. But anyway,
that show's still going?
I believe so. I don't, or no, it might be over. I can't remember. I finished it up. Tom Hardy's in that too.
Well, Tom Hardy, yeah, he's in everything. Yeah, that show's definitely done, right? Because then they made that Taboo show that nobody watched.
Right. I don't know. I never thought that Murphy had any kind of bad turn or unprompt. You know, like you feel like, I guess you feel like he could have had a bigger career, but I don't know. I didn't strike me. I mean, I think he's great, but
I'm looking at his movies: Transcendence, In the Heart of the Sea, Anthropoid.
That was good. That was good.
But where is this guy? I feel like there was a period in time when he was making shit like Red Eye and Breakfast on Pluto and those movies. Like why didn't he just like take off?
I don't know. He had a run for like a decade, right? From like 2000, from like
less than that, man.
Yeah. I don't know. But he's fucking great as Scarecrow.
He's totally awesome. And Scarecrow's really cool in this movie, and I like the effects. And the mask looks great.
The mask looks great. The approach with the realism, I like. Now, you got to remember, folks, we're talking about what, essentially, Dan? The first time, now it's beaten to death, and we've made fun of it a million fucking times. But, like, it's kind of the only time, right, where a superhero movie is really going for the grittiness and a realism, and it works. And that's kind of it, because Marvel are awesome, but they're going for
they're cartoons. They're cartoons. Yeah, I mean,
this didn't happen again. This didn't work again. You know, right? I mean, it's this movie's grounded.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably right. You're probably right. I can't think of one. No.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Marvel's Daredevil.
I know. I guess you're right. Like, kind of the closest you've come to something like this now is like Jessica Jones or something. But with such a high profile character as Batman on the big screen, like huge budget, like big actors, it's not really been done as well.
Right. And, you know, let me just get back to the movie really quick with that 1 hour mark. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that's when you see your first appearance of Batman, which is
it's just once we're back in Gotham, because like even like the non-Batman stuff, like the stuff with Christian Bale, like trying to be like a vacuous playboy with those girls in that hotel, that's a really great scene. Yep. And when
he gets Gordon in his office when he's doesn't have the Batman costume and he has like the stapler behind his head.
I love that scene because it had become such a convention, especially in Batman the Animated Series, where like Batman like standing behind Gordon and then Gordon turns around and he's not there anymore.
Right.
And it never occurred to me, like, why doesn't Gordon, when that happens, he should just like go run after Batman?
Right.
And I love that he does that in this movie. And Batman has to like rush away and jumps off a fucking. And I love that he like fucks up jumping off the building. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It reminded me a little bit of it's like a more gritty, grounded version of that scene in the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie where he tries to web swing and he runs into the wall.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he doesn't quite know what he's doing yet. He doesn't quite know how to handle the equipment, and Gordon's great, you know, in that sequence. And yeah, when he first appears fully garbed up, and I love, I mean, the callback, obviously, I think, to the first movie, with the, you know, what are you on Batman? But this time it's almost like it's so, and I thought this at the time, I love the way it's done because it's done like it's a new thing and it's a completely new Batman. So like Michael Keaton pulls the thug close to him and it's, you know, he says, I'm Batman. It's great. But in this one, it's like, we got an actual guy here who looks like he could kick your ass and he's scary. And so when Carmine Falcone says, you know, who are you? He says, I'm Batman, and then fucking headbutts him. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It just like adds a whole thing to it. And then he sticks him on the spotlight. You know, that was pretty nice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's another one, though, where like Yeah, he looks a little like a bat, I guess. Like we need
It's
like
funny. So for you, whenever it gets a little, I wouldn't even say the word goofy, but when it gets a little
when it gets
light, you don't
explainy, Henry.
explain. Okay.
That's the thing. It's not that I like because it's
Right.
not that I worry about jokes. Some of the jokes are
Oh.
really funny.
You like the tone, right?
Yeah, no. The tone works for me for the most part. It's just anytime it's like, and this is how the bat signal was created. I just don't care.
Yeah. At
And
the
it's
end, though,
superhero origin stories. They just don't really appeal to me, except for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That one's great. But even Spider-Man, like now, once you've seen it once, like I don't ever need to see it again.
and actually, as I recall, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, that's like a full-on hour.
Yeah, and I feel the opposite about that movie that I do about this one, where I love the origin story, and then when it becomes a more conventional superhero movie, I'm not as into it.
Interesting, yeah. But yeah. So basically, it's like the plot is silly, but it's actually understandable. It's not ridiculously hard to understand. It's essentially Ra's al Ghul employing the Scarecrow to develop a weaponized fear gas so he can tear Gotham apart, because the League of Shadows has been doing this for thousands of years.
Yeah, it actually, despite how silly it is, stands up to scrutiny. Like when
It
you when
does.
you rewatch it, you can catch like all the little moments that are setting up what happens later. That's called foreshadowing, Daniel. Yep.
No, no, but you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. And all right, well, I got a lot more to say, but we gotta
We really do, man. We could,
Fine.
but look,
So-
we're talking about all these fucking actors and characters next week. So
Yeah. So I just want to say the last two moments that I love is in the last sequence with Gordon and Batman on the rooftop. It's just
I
the best
love
way to-
that moment, and it's funny because when they cut to that moment, I was like, ooh, because I like the moment between him and Alfred too, and I like the moment between I like all the wrap ups, the stuff with him and
Yes.
Rachel at the end. He
She's
and
good at
Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when we cut to Gordon, I was like, really, we need another one. I was like-
Right.
But then that scene's great.
Well,
And
he
Gordon's
was-
kind of the heart of the movie. And the stuff with
Oh, yeah.
Gordon in the tumbler at the end is really funny and good.
It is.
And
it is.
I don't, despite I do not like the tumbler.
Tumblr's fucking awesome.
I don't like it. It's not interesting. Anything that causes too much destruction in a movie, I'm not into.
Okay, it's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I just looked at it as like that's what you need to do anything he's doing. It's just that's what you.
Yeah,
have to
but
have.
that's not interesting to me. That's not why I like superheroes. Like, you know what? If you were a real superhero, you'd want this. Like,
I guess from a practical standpoint, I liked all that techie equipment shit, which is normally not my thing. But when it comes to Batman, I'm all in.
The only moment that really makes the tumbler worth it for me, I really, really like. There's a couple of good extras in this movie that like only have like a couple lines.
Oh, our old friend Rade Zerbageja.
Raid Sherber Gerber is great as the homeless guy. Nice coat. And I like. There's a cop at the end of the movie who's like putting out on his like speaker, his walkie-talkie to the other cops, and he just goes, "We've got a black tank." I like that moment quite a bit.
Great. And the movie really is. I get chills, man, because in that last scene, we'll just get back to it and we'll wrap up. Is Batman shows up on the roof, he taps on the bat signal, and he just looks at Gordon and goes, "Nice,"
Yeah.
Gordon explains what's going on in the city, and of course, I'll never forget when I saw it in the theater. Literal cheers from the audience when they showed the Joker playing card.
It's funny because
And-
that's the kind of scene that now in a movie might be a stinger.
You're absolutely right. That is a good point.
Yeah.
You'd have to wait, and you don't have to there. And then, Gordon says, "I never said thank you," and he says, "And you'll never have to."
Right.
Fucking beautiful. It's
Good.
beautiful.
Done.
Great. Done. All right.
What do you give it?
I'm giving it 5.
5. That's interesting. I was between
No,
a 3
it
and
was
a,
hard.
I was between a 3 and a 4. And
I wanted to go 4 so I could go up, but it's a flawed movie. But it's my flawed.
Yeah,
movie.
but to me, flawed movies don't get 5s. So I'm gonna give this one a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3.
3.
Yeah.
Ow.
I really enjoy this movie. It's totally solid, good entry in the franchise, and that's what a 3 is. I don't think it's super. I don't think these movies get super special until the second one.
Yeah, I think it was after so many years and failures trying to get this guy on screen.
No, absolutely. If we're looking at it that way, for me, who loves Batman Returns,
right.
It's like, it's the first good live action Batman movie in whatever it was, 13 years. So
that we've given 5 stars to many movies that are flawed.
Not me.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you absolutely fucking.
No, I haven't. Only perfect movies like Chinatown and Crank 2 High Voltage.
Exactly. There you go. I was waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm going 5. My MVP, I'm going to go with, I wanted to do this impromptu, and I'm going to go with Gary Oldman.
Ooh, I love that choice. I'm tempted. Can I go with Gary Oldman too?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's tough. He's showing up again, giving great performances, but I'm waiting. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, this movie doesn't have a strong enough villain, which is something I don't think you can say about the next couple of movies. And I think Liam Neeson and Cillian Murphy are both really good. I think Michael Caine is a really satisfying Alfred. Never. But to me, Gary Oldman's the heart of the movie, and the in for me as a viewer to care. And that's something I have trouble doing sometimes with Christopher Nolan movies, is caring.
Yeah, it's true. You do. You don't get a lot of. You don't feel like he's got a lot of emotion in his.
I don't think he's got a lot of heart. But Gary Oldman to me is a character I can really care about. I mean, Gary Oldman's version of Gordon.
Absolutely. LVP, Katie Holmes.
Oh.
Sorry, Kate.
That's interesting.
Nothing personal.
I mean, maybe you have to. No,
Go ahead. You can think of something else. Maybe you want to get to Goyer for leaving in some stuff you would have taken out.
No, I mean, whatever. Who's the actor who is like the on the board at Wayne Enterprises?
Rutger Hauer?
Rutger Hauer. I don't particularly like him in this movie. Maybe he's not my LVP though. I don't want to give it to Katie Holmes. I kind of like Katie Holmes.
Get out of here. You're just Dawson Creeking it here.
No, I think she's okay in this movie, but you might be right. She might be the least valuable player. No, you know who the least valuable player is? And it's a bummer because I like him as an actor. It's it's Ken Watanabe. And when they announced Ken Watanabe was going to play Ra's al Ghul, I was so fucking pumped for that, and they do nothing with him in this.
Yeah, that's actually really good choice. Yeah. I think he's fine, but there's nothing. Why get him?
Right, exactly. He's an Oscar winner. You could get any Asian guy in this role.
Yeah.
But I guess they cast Ken Watanabe so it would fool you that Liam Neeson is Ra's al Ghul. But like what? That's an exciting twist. Like, oh, it's the white guy. Cool.
Right. Yeah. Right. Iron Fist syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me burn through this fucking count, all right?
Please do.
Yeah, all right. Michael Caine was Chester King in the Kingsman Secret Service. Liam Neeson was Darkman in Darkman.
Yeah.
Tom Wilkinson was James Reed in The Green Hornet.
Right, he was the Green Hornet's dad.
There you go. Rutger Hauer was Morgan Edge in Smallville.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? Wow, look at you. See, I knew you'd know these. And Cardinal Roark in Sin City.
Sure. He probably like raped a baby or something.
Ugh, Jesus. Frank Miller, weak. Morgan Freeman in Red, playing Joe Matheson. And in the new Conan the Barbarian, he was the narrator.
Of course he was.
Rutger Hauer's secretary in this movie, who's playing little mini putt with Bruce Wayne in that quick scene. Christine Adams, interesting. British actress, is currently in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., playing Agent Anne Weaver, and also playing Lynn Pierce in Black Lightning.
Okay. Is she black?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Keep going.
Vincent Wong, who was the old Asian prisoner in the beginning, who warns Christian Bale that they're out to get him.
Sure, just get that guy to play Ra's al Ghul.
No, but what's funny about him? He was in the Tim Burton original Batman, playing the crime lord seated at the table when Jack Nicholson lights that guy on fire with the joy buzzer.
Okay.
Something else, man. I'm pulling. Richard Brake, who played Joe Chill, was in Thor: The Dark World, playing the great Einar Jar captain. And Kingsman, he played the interior.
Okay.
Only 3 more.
Hurry up.
Rade Katushin Najsurbaja, who played the homeless guy.
Yeah.
Of course, the Russian general in X-Men First Class. And 2 more to go. Shane Rimmer, the recurring guy in the Richard Donner Supermans 1, 2, and 3, played 3 different roles in each one. We've mentioned him before. He was the water main tech in Gotham. And the number 11, I believe this is who we were speaking of, was it not? The man who died in the... No. I'm sorry, somebody else who died. Spencer Wilding, one of the League of Shadows members, was in Guardians of the Galaxy, Green Lantern, and Ghost Rider. Hey, they were all live-action ones. I'll say that for that super.
All right. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, Nolan has so little heart as a filmmaker that he had to cast a cute kid in this movie that we'd care about, and he literally cast the most sociopathic-looking kid in the world, fucking King Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
I never knew that.
Me neither. That was mind-blowing when I saw this.
Today, when I did every actor with the superhero count, and I was like, who the fuck?
No, I recognized him.
I did not. Wow. That's good.
Yeah, and I've never even seen an episode with that character in it.
I love it.
He's just permeated the culture.
Yes, he has. All righty.
All right, for fuck's sake, leave us a 5-star rating, a review on iTunes, and we got a couple this week, Henry.
All right.
I want to thank those of you who did this. We need them, you pieces of shit. And thank you to Dark Knight 77, who says, these zany lefty loons complain about everything. By the way, this review is titled Mildly Entertaining, but he gave us 5 stars. Okay?
Wow.
It's still mildly entertaining if you're in the mood to be talked down to by rank-and-file D-bag Barnes & Noble employees. Not anymore. It gets even better when the hosts take the moral high ground on one another, usually Daniel to Hank. Then the douchebaggery reaches even higher levels. It's friggin' hilarious. Love you guys. Keep on being disgusting and arrogant as hell. It's so funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like he enjoys the show much, but kind of does. I don't really know how to read.
I don't have to feel. I don't feel too bad. At least I'll be able to fucking sleep in 10 years.
Yeah. So he did call us douchebags, right? That was genuine.
Well, we're zany lefty loons, but
zany lefty loons. It is my pleasure, my conservative right wing lunatic. Thank you for that review.
I'm just trying mildly hard not to be a piece of shit. I can't say the same for everybody.
I agree with you, Dan. It's kind of easy these days. You really just don't have to be a fucking racist motherfucking pig. And you can kind of be an okay dude. But, hey, Who are we to preach?
Scott C 1976 gives us 5 stars and just wrote, "The franchise is one of our finest podcasts." Shout out to my boy Jude Law and Sean Penn. Okay, so that's it. Follow us on Twitter at Pod Franchise. Follow the show on Twitter at Low Stakes Daniel. Danimal Control 6669 wants a Henry Fitzcarraldo blowout update.
He'll get that next week.
We can't do the theme, but have you?
No, because also there needs to be a blowout theme as well.
Okay. Okay. So that'll be next
we'll
week.
Save that. You're gonna have a nice one. I'm gonna make a note of that right now.
He also what?
Yes. No. Go ahead. I got a nice email from a couple of people, but I might save one of them for next week.
A lot of people wrote in to say that Ed Begley Jr. was, in fact, the Riddler's boss in Batman Forever. You were wrong.
I think I was.
What?
I don't think I was.
You were. Everyone sent me screenshots. There's Batman Wikipedia pages. Renee Auberjonois was in the movie as an Arkham Asylum doctor, but his scenes were deleted.
Oh, all right. It must have been the credit they gave him. I just read it. I took it the wrong way as thinking it meant.
No, Ed Begley went uncredited. That's why you were confused.
Yep. We all make mistakes.